Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Isha for Pinkfresh Studio. In today's video, I am sharing my card making process using ink blending, stenciling, masking techniques, and die cutting to create a whimsical scene filled with cuteness and dimension. I am using the Seaside cones dies and stencils. I am using more critters and some of the desserts from the Patisserie Pals stencils and dies. I'm using the sentiment from the Patisserie Pals stamp set. I used the ice cream truck stamp for the sprinkles. To create the clouds, I used stencil number 4 from the guiding light stencil set. And for the frame, I used single stitched rectangle dies. The ink colors I used are sweet mustard, fresh pear, citron, sun-kissed, mimosa, peony, raspberry bliss, mint, meadow, candy violet, waterfall, sky blue, warm buff, rocky slope, and detail black. Other than these, I used a black glaze pen to add color to the critter's eyes. All supplies are listed in the description box below, so be sure to check them out. To begin, I am reaching for stencil number 4 of the guiding light stencil set. I am tracing the cloud shape onto a sticky note using a pencil. This sticky paper has light adhesive backing, perfect for creating a reusable mask. You can also use a copy paper with a repositionable tape or any masking paper of your choice. I turn the stencil, trace again, and carefully cut out each fluffy shape. Notice as I am cutting, I am moving the paper and not the scissors. This is to keep those curves smooth and clean. Now I am placing 2 of the clouds onto a crisp white card panel. With 1-inch blending brush, I begin to ink blend sky blue ink. I am adding color across the upper area to create an ombre effect. So it will stay a bit darker on the upper side and gets lighter as it goes down. I am blending in a light motion. I place the third cloud mask here and blend again. This layering creates gentle dimension. One pure white cloud in the distance, another with a soft halo of blue. It's a simple yet magical effect to create dimension. Some of the mask edges overhangs the panel, so I am trimming them back slightly to help everything stay snug and still for the ink blending. Next, to add a grassy feel for the background, here I am coming in with fresh pear ink for the green across the bottom. The scene is beginning to take shape here, ready for the endless possibilities. Next, I move to stencil number 1 from the Seaside Cone stencil set. I position it into the corner of my Misty stamping platform to keep everything aligned. These stencils have etched mark for an A2 size card panel too. That helps to align them as well. I find the Misty helpful here. Using masking paper, I cover the mat and the ice cream scoop. The first color we blend for the seal is warm buff. I am applying more pigment at the edges and let it fade towards the belly. I'm keeping the center lighter for a soft round look. Take your time here. Ink blending is a calming process. If you're new to it, start with a light touch and add more pressure as needed. The beauty of these inks is that they smoothen out as they dry, giving a soft, a lot kind of airbrushed finish. I clean off the stencil to prevent any color transfer. Then I am moving on to blending the ice cream scoop with sun-kissed ink using a 1/2-inch blending brush. This is a pretty tone that adds warmth and joy. For the mat, I'm coming in with the candy violet color. It has a deep and velvety feel. This is one of my favorites in the violet color family. I'm keeping this color darker near the edges and fading towards the center. This gives us a luminous effect. Next, we move on to the stencil number 2. I'm adding color to the seal scarf in Raspberry Bliss. I'm tapping off the excess ink onto the side as this ink is quite pigmented. So by tapping, the color lays light onto the paper. Then I blend in peony ink with heavy pressure. This will create a coral pink hue which looks really pretty. I am using mint color for the second scoop of ice cream. I'm keeping it heavier on the left to hint at soft shading. For the straw, I am using Raspberry Bliss ink. I keep wiping the stencils so we won't contaminate the ink and the colors stay fresh. Now for the third and last stencil, I am using Rocky Slope ink to the whiskers and flap details onto the seal. The ice cream cone stencil only has outline, which looked a little bit flat to me. So I masked off part of the paper and brushed in more warm buff just to give it some depth. Small touches like this bring the image to life. Next, I reach for the coordinating dies and cut out our images. I felt the need for more critters for the scene I have in mind. So I'll be using the bunny, the duck, and little treats from the Patisserie Pals collection. First, I'm die cutting all the images, and here I find it easier to color this way. I'm putting the negative piece to a sticky mat and then add the die cut images I need onto the mat. Using stencil 1 through 6, I color in each image with a light pressure. In stencil number 1, I am using Rocky Slope for the bunny's face and legs, Raspberry Bliss ink for the plate, and a bit of peony for the cake. Mint ink for the macaroons. Now each stencil has 2 sections here, so don't forget to wipe everything after each number. On the stencil number 2, I'm coming in with waterfall ink for the bunny's shirt. I'm keeping the color more concentrated to the left side. For the duck, I'm using sweet mustard ink for that rich and golden hue. By varying my pressure as I blend, I create soft highs and lows that add dimension without harsh lines. Moving on to stencil number 3, I am adding peony ink to the bunny's shorts. For the cake stand, I am using Rocky Slope ink. Next, I am adding blue jay ink to the bunny's shoes. And I used waterfall ink for the bow on the duck's neck. In the similar way, I kept adding in various colors to create all the details using the stencils. I love this part of card making and how just by adding tiny details, it makes a big difference in the end result. Once everything was done, I felt the ice cream cone needed some pop, so I stamped some sprinkles using the mimosa and meadow inks, and now this made me happy. This sprinkle stamp is from the ice cream truck set and pair beautifully with everything else. Do you mix and match your supplies? I love to do that and it makes creating more fun for me. Next, it's time for the sentiment. I use the sentiment from the Patisserie Pals stamp set. I stamped it several times using detail black ink to get a rich, clean impression. I actually have to re-ink my ink pad. Here I'm using the largest of the stitched rectangle die to add the details to the panel. This small step adds elegance and brings everything together. Now I begin to assemble the final scene. I use foam tape and Pinkfresh Precision Clear Craft Glue to adhere the images. The seal, bunny, and the duck all gather around the ice cream cone and the macaroons and the cake. And they are ready to play. This reminds me of going for picnic with my kids during warm summer days and having gelatos. Once we assemble everything together, I'm adding some finishing touches using a black glaze pen for the critter's eyes, a white gel pen for the highlights. These tiny details make the image sparkle and smile. And we are done. A card full of pretty colors, adorable critters, and the beautiful message: celebrate life's small joys. I hope you enjoyed watching this process as much as I did making it. Let me know what you want me to create next in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss out on new crafty inspirations. Thank you and bye bye.